naddakiika oba 5 tujja kuba naye nga tuli butoola. Naye ate era nga ffe bwe tweyogerako bulijjo tuli kafenensi ka ku kkubo kengera mpi twakkiriza okwetikka n'ebyabaminisita oba oliawo n'ebya paalamenti. Y'ensonga lwaki n'ekibuuzo ekyabuuzibwa Oweekitiibwa Muyanja ne banne paka kati tekinnaddibwamu, nze nkyabala nti ekyali emu 0 kubanga omukyala yababuuzizza mwali ludda wa ng'etteeka lya ssaako lino liyita. Ekyo nno bwe tunaabeera eri nange n'abawa omukisa, naye wano engeri gye nkyalina obuyinza mujja gumiikiriza kiri erinza obba omukisa oba nedda. Nja kusaba era mu kitundu ekyokubiri olw'okuba tulinamu abantu ab'ebiti eby'enjawulo, tulinamu abatali bakenkufu nnyo mu lulimi Luzungu, tugattamu ffenna tubeere nga tusobola okuwulizinganya. Naye nsaba tukkirize nti waliwo ebitagenda bulungi oluusi, ate naffe tuli bantu oba oluusi tuyinza obutatuukiriza mutindo gwe mutusuubiramu. Mu ekyo mutusonyiwa era okwetonda kya mpisa. Oweekitiibwa Dani Mulika akimanyi nti eyo mpisa ya Buganda ey'okwetonda. Naye bwe weetonda okola obweyamu otuukirize ekyo kitatuuse. Tweyanziza nnyo, tweyanzeege. Ndi mugezi nga mubuulire. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to give the technical committee and the Commissioner General a chance to respond to the questions raised formally, because we have so many here that are raised. Some people cannot go on a microphone, but they have raised their concerns. Thereafter, we shall take another set of questions. This team is led by the Commissioner General, and I will invite the Commissioner General again to answer the second set of questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Answering your questions is the reason we are here, so please keep them coming. Hopefully within the time that we have, we should be able to answer more of them, and for those that maybe we are not, we will continue to answer them even after we leave this room. An issue was raised about the multiplicity of taxes being levied on our clients. Local government, central government taxes. At the end of the day, you are not able perhaps to distinguish which is a local government tax and which is a central government tax. Property rates, rental income, some people feel that these are two taxes on the same property. It's a policy issue. The conversation is going on to try and see how we can combine the taxes so that the burden, perhaps the tax burden on the taxpayer is reduced a little bit. Can you train councillors to train everybody with a tin? We do not specifically train people, but through our tax education programs, we are able to reach out to as many people as we are able to. URA also continues to host tax hubs at the points where we are giving the TIN numbers, so whoever needs information can get it. But one of the models that we have continuing to encourage, especially to those like Honorable Sech Toleko, you are chairperson of Agribusiness Initiative, to those of you others, Mr. Kayondo, chairman of Kampala Traders, all those of you that have associations and other business groupings, if you can organize yourselves into a meeting, URA is ready and willing to come and address you on any tax issues that you may want. It may be your annual general meeting, it might be another type of meeting, but once you have a grouping in your business associations, please feel free to call upon us and will come and give you tax education. Someone has asked on excise duty, kindly clarify on other furniture, as on page 4, rate 10% to 20%. How is it different from furniture on page 7? Perhaps the important point to note is imported furniture has excise duty of 10%, but there are differences in the imported furniture. There is that is perhaps purely luxurious, that might have a higher rate, and then furniture which is frequently used, but also which is made locally, will have a rate of 10%. We are trying to encourage people to buy furniture that is locally made, build Uganda, buy Uganda, build Uganda. That is why there is an excise duty on furniture. In your presentation, you emphasized improvement in compliance, but taxpayers are already abandoning their companies because of interest, penalty, and principal. We request the Minister of Finance and URA to apply a relief 3 years back. We have used the strategy of amnesties before. In fact, the last amnesty was given in 2014. Amnesties have not been seen to improve the behavior of taxpayers in as far as improving compliance. And therefore, now we would like to encourage taxpayers to embrace the principle that we have put in, that interest will only be applied on the principal amount, principal tax as well as penalty. But we will no longer have interest on interest, which has been swelling up the liability. Kindly get to us so that we can work out with you a payment plan to ensure that you are able to pay your arrears. We do not foresee an amnesty at this time. This year's budget is encouraging local production against importation. However, given the fact that local production capacity is not enough to contain the demand, what countermeasures have been put in place to counter high prices of inputs due to scarcity, which in turn leads to low production? We would like to encourage more and more usage of the inputs that are locally produced. This strategy is one that you start with and incrementally will improve the capacity of the availability of local inputs. And again, hopefully the principles of economics will help in ensuring that people are able to buy those that are more affordable and therefore encourage local production. On SACCOs, while it was explained that SACCOs are exempted, the presenter said they should submit returns. Which returns? Whenever, okay, I'll step back a bit. Compliance is at 3 levels. The first level is at registration, the second level is at filing returns, and the third level of compliance is payment of taxes. The level that the SACCOs have been exempted from is the third level of compliance of payment of taxes. However, we still expect even exempt taxpayers to register for taxes and to file returns. You can file a nil return because in that return, you'll still be able to report on the income that you have made for the year, but still not pay tax because you're exempted. There's an income and there would have been tax you've paid, but you will not pay the tax because you are exempted, but the income tax return must still be filed. Why doesn't URA encourage all companies to have machines that issue receipts to customers imported into the country not to pay taxes? Okay. We have recently been running a campaign. I think you know, you've heard about it. Mpari City Yange, give me my receipt. And this is to raise the awareness among the tax-paying public that a receipt is a trade document. You need, if you have spent some money, you must ask for your receipt. If you have received money from a client, you must issue them a receipt. A receipt is a trade document that one will use not only in balancing your books for your purposes, but also in dealing with URA. And the campaign on Parisitiange is a precursor, or it comes before our rolling out of the fiscal devices, which will ensure that whoever sells something will pass that transaction through a fiscal device that will issue a fiscal receipt. So I encourage everyone to ensure that you ask for your receipts, and those of you that issue receipts, to ensure that you issue a receipt that is approved, which has your TIN number. I assume that income tax is charged at 30%. If so, why are betting companies, which are detrimental to the economy, being asked to pay 20%? How special are they? The betting companies are governed under the Gaming and Pool Betting Tax Act. They do not fall, their regulation does not fall under the Income Tax Act. And therefore, the taxation of gaming and pool betting companies is governed under the Gaming and Pool Betting Tax Act, which imposes that 20% on the gross figure of their takings. All the money that they take from people that have, betted with them is subjected to a 20% tax under the Gaming and Pool Betting Tax. But under the same act, whoever wins from a betting company will also have to pay a 15% on their winnings. That is the two different wordings that is used. When you win money from a betting company, those are winnings. We take 15% of the winnings. The 20% is on the portion that the betting company has earned from you, which are called takings. If I have a business name and TIN, but not yet working, can I pay, what is this? Can I pay also pay? Under which circumstances do I qualify to pay tax? When you register your business and get a TIN number, we are getting you on the tax register. You become liable to pay tax on that business when your business turns around a profit, and therefore we expect you to pay corporation tax. However, if you employ people in that business, we expect you as an employer to withhold pay as you earn and remit it to Uganda Revenue Authority. Therefore, the business may be working, employing people. We expect you to withhold pay as you earn and remit it to URA. But when your business turns around a profit, we expect you to pay corporation tax. I'll now ask Dixon to take on the questions he has.
Thank you, CG. I'll start with the issue of many questions on the excise duty on beer and other spirits. Let me just give clarification that beer made from malt will attract 60% or 1,860 per liter, whichever is higher. So we introduce the specific figure. Then beer whose raw material content, excluding water, is at least 75% by weight of its contents, will attract 30% or 650 per liter, whichever is higher. Beer produced from barley grown and malted in Uganda will attract 30% or 950 shillings per liter, whichever is higher. So you will realize that these rates are distinguishing manufacturing of these drinks. using local or foreign products. For the spirits, spirits made from the locally produced raw material, 60%, and the natured spirits, they are going to attract 100% or 2,500 shillings per liter, whichever is higher. And other spirits will attract 80%. So if you enjoy these products, you enjoy, but at the same time contribute. The non-alcoholic products, these are non-alcoholic beverages, not including fruit or vegetable juices. These will attract 13% or 240 shillings per liter, whichever is higher. And then the fruit juice and vegetable juice, except juice made from at least 30% of pulp from fruit or vegetables grown in Uganda, will attract 13% or 300 shillings per liter, whichever is higher. For the non-alcoholic drinks, particularly beverages, the whole idea is to encourage usage of locally grown pulp. If you have mangoes, you have oranges, they should be, if they are used in the manufacture of these drinks, you will find that the rate is much less than those who import. Someone asked about the deep cycle batteries are now exempted, but solar, what about other solar items? Solar panels, these ones are already exempted. So we just added the deep cycle batteries. Finally, someone asked about the irrigation equipment, that it has left out water pumps, irrigation pipes, fittings, etc. That is not true. What we said is that all these equipments, as long as they are meant for use in irrigation, the pipes will be exempted. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Customs. I would expect a round of applause for the Commissioner Customs. I also think the questions that you asked, and they are not simple questions. I also want to applaud the responses given by the Commissioner General. Please join me in recognizing. There is a question here. I think, Irene, you'll have to attempt it. A good number of agreements are actually in USD. How do you expect to enforce rental tax in circumstances where the rental agreement is actually in US dollars? As you come, Irene, another question. This is addressed to the Minister of Finance. You are thanked for taxing wheat grain. Now, please, tax rice grain to encourage rice farmers.
Thank you. I have quite a number of questions on, in respect to the dollar rental in dollars. I believe with time we shall harmonize this, and probably it will be put in some other acts. But for now, we'll expect that what is declared to URA should be in shillings, because that's what the law is saying. But like I said, I believe with time it will be harmonized and probably placed in a different act other than this one. I also want to respond to a few other questions that came up.
Somebody mentioned that URA comes along with KCCA, and yet URA has not sensitized taxpayers on their obligations. I want to mention that we have set out strategies for 2017-18 to make sure that we reach all our clients, and we have a program that's well laid out to ensure that our taxpayers are sensitized. There was also another question that mentioned that sometimes the law is unfair because URA should have paid within a given threshold. And I want to thank OHT Dan Mulika, who mentioned that we implement the law as it is. And currently, we are implementing this as it is. But these are proposals that we can pick up for further review and putting to the right people to make further decisions on. Yeah. So for now, we can implement them as they have been given to us to implement. On a few other questions that came from the public, somebody wanted to know, to establish whether money lenders are part of SACCOs. Now, money lenders are not part of SACCOs, and the SACCOs are those entities where we as individuals, have an interest and invest our money. But money lenders are not that kind of entity. So in short, money lenders are not part of SACCO. Somebody else wanted to know also if from SACCOs, the exemption, that the profits of SACCOs would be taxed. Now, what's taxable here is the dividend of earners, and that's withholding. The SACCO will withhold if profits have been made and the members are being paid dividends. So that will be withheld. Somebody is asking about tax agents. The Tax Procedures Code has requires that tax agents are vetted and their operations are, monitored. And the person wanted to know when we are going to operate that. The registration for tax agents process is ongoing. A committee that is going to vet the tax agent has already been put in place, and this is going to be operationalized in 2017-18.
Thank you, Irene. Waliwo omukulu eyabuuzizza n'agamba nti kamunguluze ayagala kutukuba bigwo kubanga tugaba URA etambula n'aba KCCA ne bajja bano ne batusaba ground rent, bano ne batusaba omusolo ogw'amayumba. Basebo ne banyabo tulowooza nti ebitongole bino byonna bikolera gavumenti era omuntu gwe tutunuulira ali omu. Kyazuulibwa bakakensa abateekerateekera amateeka mu ggwanga lino nti si kyampisa abantu okutambula mu biti eby'enjawulo ate ng'omulamwa gwe gumu. Ne tulagirwa okola obufumbo obwekkekwa ebitongole bino byonna bina. Emisolo gye tusolooza nga ogwa ground rate si mupya, gwaliwo era gavumenti ez'ebitundu oba KCCA baali bagusolooza. So nga n'omusolo gw'amayumba URA yali egusolooza. Kye tunoonya nti bw'oba osasudde emitwalo 2 egya trading license, kyokka ate revenue nejja neggamba nti olina kusasula $5,000,000, oluusi nga tebategedde na bizinesi bweri. Bannaffe bali abatusinga okutegeera bizinesi nga batambula akawonvu n'akagga, lwaki tetwegatta? Ye bw'otunuulira bizinesi nolaba munnanga ajjeeko emitwalo 2, ndowooza nange bwe nzijjako 15 tekiibe kibi nnyo. N'omusuubuzi ono n'omuwa ebbanga okulaba nti anoonya ssente zino kuba bya mwaka. Ekigendererwa kwe kulaba nti tetunyigiriza musuubuzi oba oliawo ekisukkiridde. Bw'ottabeera bakodo bangalo ndowooza twakikubira engalo omwaka guli kuno kuba kuddamu kuttaanya ne mu kisiima. Mu kaseera katono nkakasa minisita ajja kubeera ng'ali naffe wano era nfunye oluvuuvuumo nti oba oliawo anaatera okututuukako. Ebibuuzo bye mwamubuuzizza bingi ate bigumu, sijja kubirumamu, nja kubimugamba era mbiterese wano. Nsaba tubeere bakkakkamu, naye twawadde nnyo abaawano omukisa okubuuza ebibuuzo. Mbadde nsaba nga ntandikira ku mwami oli waggulu abuuze ekibuuzo kye.
Thank you.
Yes, please. Your question, please.
Thank you very much.
So the Youth Council of Campus Recognition. My area of concern is under the customs changes, under the exercise duty. We appreciate your revenue fund exception of the health sector about health taxes. There is some area of concern under exercise duty 3, where Mr. Dixon confirmed to it that they have exempted exercise duty from sugar, confectionaries, sweets, chewing gums, and chocolates. As a dental profession, and research has that 90% of the dental diseases are caused by sugars. And when you look at the national budget, the Ministry of Health allocates, the national budget, Ministry of Health gets only 9%. And this 9% of the Ministry of Health, it is only 0.1% that is allocated to the dental services or treatment in all the country. Where is my concern? Because here it looks like URA is promoting dental diseases than promoting health amongst the population. What am I trying to say? That okay, my fee are doing a postmortem.
I request that you be brief and to the point.
As I conclude, my fee are doing a postmortem.
What is your question?
My question is one. Can URA have pre-consultative meetings with the sector, with the relevant stakeholders under their sectors? Because when we say I'm taxes on sweets,
I am interested in the question, kindly.
Could URA exempt tax on basic like gloves, lignocane? Because as we take now, lignocane is this is like a 50 milligram of medicine that is given when we remove someone's tooth. But currently it used to sell at 1,500. Right now, as we speak now, it is 5,000, 50 milligram bottle. So we request all the things that have to remove taxes so that the local person can benefit from the budget.
Assuming the question was made, kindly pass over the microphone to your neighbor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. My name is Gongo Edward from Kerigo.
I would like to thank URA for this kind of organization and for the massive gathering that is here. Thank you very much. I'm happy because I was about to comment that it's unfortunate Minister of Finance officials are not represented. But since the minister has just arrived, we welcome you very much.
Thank you.
My concern, one, Mr. Moderator, I'm a manufacturer and I'm a member of CASITA. CASITA has contacted me or always sent people to me to woo them into the manufacturing sector. But this has proved very, very difficult. There is pre-taxation on people who want to start manufacturing, one on machinery and raw materials, by levying withholding tax. So there is withholding tax on machinery, there is withholding tax on raw materials. Secondly, we have the VAT. Our Minister of Finance has set a VAT threshold of $4,000 for any person importing machinery. Before you are exempted from VAT, that machinery must have a value of over $4,000. If you are below that, you have to pay.
We have the Minister of
fair
Finance.
for the machinery?
The Minister will respond to those concerns at the appropriate time. Ladies and gentlemen, join me to welcome the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Honorable Matia Kasaija. Honorable Minister, we had a brainstorming session here. The Commissioner Customs and Commissioner Domestic Taxes highlighted a few issues of concern in the budget 2017-2018. The members are appreciative, specifically that you impose tax on wheat grain. Their prayer is therefore that you tax rice grain, to encourage rice farmers, local rice farmers. Others were actually policy issues. Honorable Victoria Sectoreko wondered why you did not address the cooperatives while tackling the SACCOs, so the cooperatives could also fall in the same bracket and have the same treatment. It is also a concern for members here that gaming and pool betting has in a way affected our labor workforce. Why then do you tax it at 15% and not 30% as it happens with corporation tax? I want to invite the Commissioner General, who will again invite the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development to, one, answer the 3 questions raised by the members and also address this gathering. Commissioner General.
Do you want us to close the tobacco industry?
Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Honorable Matia Kasaija. We thank you for honoring us with your presence this morning. Before you are gathered taxpayers in Uganda who have gathered here to listen into the details of the analysis in the budget speech that you read on Thursday. Many here are in the field of manufacturing, many are in the field of agriculture and agro-processing and agribusiness. Others yet are involved in local government. Many are policymakers at different levels. Others are tax practitioners, but a good number are business people and people who are involved with other business people. And they are interested in hearing and learning what is in it for them in the budget speech that you read on Thursday, but also in the tax policies and tax laws that Uganda Revenue Authority will be implementing. A good number of issues have been raised that touch on policy and that touch on tax governance. People would like to know how come SACCOs have been exempted and yet agricultural cooperatives, which perhaps were the precursor to SACCOs, have been left unattended to. An issue was raised on the exemption of crop extension services from VAT, and yet extension services cut across both crop, livestock, and other forms of extension services. Was it by error that the law specifies crop extension, or is it the spirit that we need to exempt the entire spectrum of extension services for purposes of commercialization of agriculture? People would also like to know why those that are involved in gaming and pool betting pay a lower rate at 15%, and yet those that pay income tax pay 30%. If the principle or the purpose of government levying taxes on winnings by gaming and pool betting is to discourage gambling as a destructive behavior, why is the rate apportioned to gambling and pool betting less than that applied to income tax? Honorable Minister, there has also been an issue about rental tax. Landlords that do not issue receipts, and yet their clients are expected to claim this rental expense in their deductions. What is the policy mechanism that will be used to ensure that landlords are actually declaring proper rental income, but also issuing receipts to their tenants? We have also had issues around the multiplicity of taxes being paid by those in business. They pay taxes to the local government. They also pay taxes to the central government, many times on the same base. For example, property rates and rental income. What is the government doing to ensure that these taxes are synchronized? Honorable Ministers, those are some of the policy issues that have come in that our clients here are eagerly waiting to hear from you. I now take this honor and opportunity to invite you to make your remarks to the clients here. Thank you.
Do I have ministers and members of parliament? Yes, I can see members of parliament here, but no ministers. So, because I don't want to address people who are not here. So, honorable members of parliament present, members of the URA board and the directors who are here, members of the political corps, whom I don't seem to see much, my dear taxpayers, the religious leaders, senior staff of Uganda Revenue Authority, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I want to apologize for having coming late. This was supposed to be a breakfast meeting, not a lunch meeting. Now, I apologize for that, but I've got an issue with the URA. You know, they try to fix the minister rather than the minister fixing time for them. That's the problem. So next time, Commissioner General, don't fix time for me. Get my office to fix time for me. That's where the problem arose. I had another breakfast meeting running from 7 o'clock until 11 o'clock. And that one, they applied, they asked me earlier. So next financial, please, make sure you don't keep these distinguished people waiting for the minister to come. Make sure you get the right time, the right day when the minister will be here, and I will be here. I am not going to do very much on the tax policies, because that's the job of the Commissioner General, to explain these taxes. They should be set in full consultation with the Uganda Revenue Authority. If that was not done, then you let me know and I will treat my officer to answer these questions on tax policy and why we have taxed here and have not taxed here. If that has not been done, then I will have an issue with my department in charge of taxes. My intention to be here, there are two. First of all, to thank you as taxpayers for supporting your economy. And to thank Uganda Revenue Authority for doing their job, although there is still a lot of room for improvement. So I thank you, Madam Commissioner General, and your staff for the job so far. You're doing very well. But as I said, there is still plenty of room for improvement. My main reason of being here, I will answer the few things, the tax issues you raised, I will answer them. But my main issue to be with you today, like I was with the accountants this morning, is to tell you the direction now which we have to take for our economy. Because unless and until the economy moves, all what we are talking about here is going to be, as the Baganda say, kufuira mbuzi mulere. A goat cannot dance, even if you make a flute. In other words, what he says, we are talking hot air. The direction which we want to take for the economy is as follows, in a very simple and abridged form. We must link agriculture and industry. And let me show you how we plan to do it. First of all, why are we talking about agriculture? We are talking about agriculture because it is the only resource where Uganda has been, I don't know the right word to use, has been greatly endowed, for lack of a better word. God has been so generous to Uganda in terms of agriculture. You people, you know, those of you who have traveled, you know what I'm talking about. Me, I have been to virtually every angle of this world. I have never seen a country as endowed as Uganda as far as agriculture is concerned. One, we farm here and produce twice a year. I went to South Africa as a farmer now, not as a minister. And I told them, for us, for maize and beans, and all, generally speaking, other crops, we harvest twice a year. Right or wrong? Correct? Then that Muzungu told me, he said, hey, Mr. Farmer, you mean, and when he was harvesting his maize, he said, repeat, you harvest twice a year? I said, yes. He said, how do you do it? And I told him how we do it. Then he asked me a question. Are there still poor people in Uganda? Have you heard that? He said, are there still poor people in Uganda? That thing registered in my head. And I said, well, I try to hide. Yeah, but you see, we have other challenges. 2 seasons. Until recently, we've been having sufficient rain. But you know what has happened now over the last 2 seasons? And that's the challenge I'm going to tell you that we need to tackle. But despite the droughts, we are surrounded by rivers, lakes. People say Karamoja is a dry area. Who told you Karamoja is a dry area? No. May I tell you a story? In 1971, I was working for Shell then. I went to Moroto to do some work for Shell. Those of you who know the route, Namaru, turn left. I forget there is a Gombra headquarters in the health center. Anybody from Karamoja here? Anybody from Karamoja? Yes. What do you call that from when you turn off, you leave the one going to Nakapiripiri, turn left. What is that sub-county next? And the health center, what is it called? Nabila 2. That's the word I was looking for. Nabila 2. When you pass Nabila 2, there is a riverbed as you cross tomorrow into Moroto. We passed there around 10 o'clock, and I was able to drive my little car at 204 and crossed and went to Moroto and did my work. Now, I didn't want to sleep in Moroto. I wanted to come back at Mbale. You know, at that age, when you were still young man, Mbale at that time was more attractive than Moroto. But I'm told Moroto now is equally attractive Mbale for the young men and women. So we drive back at about 4 or 5 o'clock. I don't know the name of that river. I found the water was 6 feet high in that river. 6 feet high. Then we said, now what do we do? So we asked the Wananchi, they said, hey, my friend, you go back and sleep in Moroto, come back here at about tomorrow 11 midday. The story may be different. So we turned our cars, we went back to Moroto to sleep. What that hotel, Uganda hotel in Moroto was called what? Huh? Mount Moroto. Mount Moroto Hotel. We went there, we slept. True to our information we received, 11 o'clock we are back at that river. The water was 2 feet deep. So we were able to cross with our little car on the side of Namaru and right back at Mbale. So what am I saying? When people say Karamoja is dry, is because they are ignorant. The only problem with Karamoja is that we don't hold the water that falls there. Are you aware when you go, there is another place when you go on the way to leave Moroto, you go up, there is a big Catholic mission up there. I went there after we had taken, NRM had taken over. I found the priests growing grapes and apples up the mountain. So what is the problem for that area? We do not hold all the water that falls into Karamoja. And another is this, I have remembered. I was in, what is that district after, on the way to Kidepo? Kotido. Not Kotido. Kabong. Those of you who have been at Kabong, the town, there is another river. One night, I was going to a place called Karapata. Karapata. I was in internal affairs. It had rained the night before. The speed at which the water was running from the national park side, heading towards Teso, unbelievable. So the problem is that we have no capacity to hold that water. If we had the capacity, and when the minister for Karamoja, Madam Museveni, was in charge, I said, anybody who pretends to come and help for Karamoja to develop, tell them to help us to tap and hold all the water that falls in Karamoja. Then we turn Karamoja green. But that be said, all this water with our ignorance goes into Lake Bisinia. Am I right? If we had the capacity to pump that water back, and then it flows down at the time we want it to flow down, Moroto will be green 24 hours, 20 months of the year. So it is our own lack of knowledge and lack of technology. People say Moroto is a dry area. It's not a dry area. It is we, our ignorance, who make it dry. Am I clear? Uganda, we are surrounded by lakes, by rivers. We should not be crying about this drought weather we are having. We should be irrigating. And you heard me in my speech. We are going to do and put money in irrigation. So that by 2020, we should have a system of irrigation all around for those who can afford to irrigate their gardens. So, agriculture. What do I want? This country is zoned. It's zoned. The Uganda, we know the zones. We know what does best. That information we have. And I'm going to ask for the Minister for Agriculture, because I was challenged by the accountant. He said, we don't know. I'm going to challenge if there is anybody from Minister of Agriculture, but I will talk to my colleague, Minister Sempija. This information must be given to Ugandans what does best where. We know it. We know where cotton is done best. We know where cattle does best. We know where mangoes do best. We know where coffee does best. Now, we should encourage our farmers to specialize in 1 or 2 or 3 crops maximum for money in those zones. Now, once we do that, and this is, I mean, we might have to move either a law or a regulation or whatever the case may be, of some points of some sort. We zone, we allocate, in this area, this is what should be grown, or what we should be grazed. Then, we look for, you know, in everything, you get a champion. In everything we do in life, be it in family, be what, be it in politics, there is always somebody who shows up as the leader. President Museveni is not a leader by mistake. No, not by accident. I have known him since my days in Intare. He has been wanting to lead, and now he's leading. He's not there by accident. Those of you who don't know, he's not a president because it's an accident. No. Well calculated, well looked to, especially I understood him very well under the UNLF, 1980. I could see that that guy should be able to lead this country, and I have supported him since that time, and I'm still supporting him today. Those who don't want to support him, you don't know what you are losing. So, in a village, I'll give you a case. Yesterday I was coming from Hoima. Before you reach Kiboga, and after you have turned off the road which goes to Chankwanzi, a place called Bukwiri, those who know, I found people selling mangoes on the road. The mangoes are in season. Plenty of mangoes. Then we sat down and I asked a few questions. I said, how many trees do you have on your kibanja? He said 1 or 3. Then I asked another one, how many trees? 3 trees. Then I said, even with this type of mangoes, how many times do you harvest? Twice a year. How many mangoes do you get? There were these big mangoes. They are called the dodo. Dodo. I said, how many do you collect per tree? You know what I was told? More than 100 mangoes per tree. Now I reflected, I said, if that Mosei there, farmer, were to be told, have 1 acre of those mangoes. 1 acre. I asked, how many trees do you put on an acre? I think they put 100. Am I right? Is there an agriculturist here? Is there an agriculturist here? How many? Yes, she's here. How many plantlets of mango do you put in an acre? 400. Like coffee. She's an expert. She said 400 trees, plantlets of mango in 1 acre. Now, if that person, that dodo, after we have researched with Kawanda, that it can give 200 fruits in 1 acre, sorry, per tree, there are 400 trees. How many fruits are those? Please take a pen. You people, take a pen here. Take a pen. In 1 acre, 400 trees. If we get a correct variety, well searched, it can produce 200 fruits per season. Multiply. There are 2 seasons. Multiply. What figure are you giving me? 160,000. Each mango, I bought it for 1,000 shillings. 1,000 only. In the company, it's 2,000. There it is 1,000. Tell me the amount of money. How much? 160 million out of 1 acre of dodo researched, produced by a farmer down there. Repeat the amount of money. 160 million. Would that money be, would he ever be poor again? Would he be ever poor again? Now, Assume there are about 100 of them because we want that man to be a nucleus with other farmers around him. You can make the Chibaro. Now, if they do that, now the factory will move into that place to process those what? Those mangoes. Are you following me? You know, private sector, they smell money. Where there is money, they will go. Am I right, private sector? Private sector. Because me, I'm a private sector man. I came from private sector. I told you I was working for Shell. Where there is money, the private sector will say where and go. So we shall go and put, I'm using this as an illustration, we shall go and put this factory in that place or nearby to process those mangoes. I was in India, and some friend of mine brought me a nice packet of mangoes. Well cleaned, well packaged. I brought them in the plane, none got crushed. They all arrived here. Now, those mangoes, those farmers are assisted, they can package them, nicely pack them, and we export them. There will be a packaging industry in that place. This nucleus farmer, I want him to have 4 responsibilities. 1, I want him to make sure that he gets the appropriate planting materials. I want him to give extension service to his fellow farmers, together with the government agriculturists. 3, I want him to help the smaller farmers to market. And 4, I want him to do, or him or her, to help his fellow farmers to get credit. And we produce. Why am I insisting on this? In this manner, you will be able to produce the volumes. Volumes. Today you can't produce volumes because a man is growing a pineapple there, he's growing an orange, he's growing a mango, he's got a few seedlings of, a few, what do you call it, butunda. Butunda is what in English? Passion fruits. How do you expect that person? So the ones I'm using now, there are 2, and listen to me carefully. Production and productivity. I want Ugandans, whatever you are doing, you produce the maximum you can produce with the articles you have got in your hands, so that we push volumes up. But also you, as an individual, you produce maximally so that you get the maximum amount you can get and get good money. In this way, we shall kick poverty among our population, growth will be inclusive, and now we look now to industrialize, to manufacture what people are producing from our soil into industry. Industry now can absorb all your labor. You will even run short of labor. All these young boys and young girls, engineers, accountants, business trainers, and whatnot, they will now have something to do within your industry. We shall have solved several problems. 1, we shall have increased income among our people, particularly in the areas. We shall have solved the problem of unemployment among our youth. I told you that according to the statistics, every year we are getting between 3,000 to 5,000 youth joining the labor market. And if we do not plan for those children carefully, they will become a problem to us. Now, before they become a problem to us, I want to turn them into a big asset by getting jobs through industry for them. 3, Uganda Revenue Authority and your minister here, Kashaija, is going to become very rich because those industries, those farmers, I will tax them appropriately, not to kill them, so that they can give me more money. Madam Okoro here collects more revenues. Then now the budget, now she's collecting only 14. Now we are projected to 14 trillion. I want her to collect 30 trillion. Now if I have 30 trillion, I can finance your budget almost to 90% without having to go to borrow. People, I'm told they are already have just been told, but been telling me, Minister, the date you are having is too big, you may not be able to pay it back. That's what they are telling me. I will now do you better roads. I will now produce more electricity. I will now build better schools. Now I will be able to put up modern hospitals. And the quality of life goes up. The other day I told you life expectancy has improved. I want it to go, no, 60 is not good enough. I want it to go to 80, 90. We should live up to 80, 90, and then we'll go to meet our creator. Other countries are doing it, why not we Ugandans? So, I summarize. I would like that we link up, please. I want you to help me, Mr. Secretary. I want you to help me to advocate this policy. We are discussing in the government, but it is agreed, actually it's known, but we want to implement it. The question of increasing production and productivity, not only in farming, but in every aspect. Me now, I'm concentrating on farming because I want agriculture to be the base on which I industrialize Uganda. Are we together? Very clear? Then now we can call about you are taxing here, you are taxing there, you are taxing there. You know, when you become rich, taxing you becomes not a big problem because you must be taxed. Tax we must pay. Taxes we must pay. Because you know where I don't have to teach you simple. You know the budget. The budget is funded through three things. Let me repeat. One, tax revenue, which you people, you gladly give me. At times you do. Some of you try to hide. Yeah, I know there is a tax evasion. I'm going to touch it on it. There is some people who are trying to evade. Nobody likes to pay taxes, by the way. Even when Jesus was around, I think there was a problem, isn't it? There was a problem. Nobody wants to pay taxes. But we must pay taxes because it is through taxes that we generate revenue for government to implement projects to help you even do better jobs. If you don't have good roads, can you really do good business? If we do not have electricity, can you industrialize? You people who are in manufacturing. You are suffering, I know you are suffering manufacturers because the power we are supplying you is too expensive. 11 cents a unit. It's too high. You can't make good money. I was talking to one trader, I met him in Dubai the other day, he was coming from China. I said, why don't you go? He said, Minister, he did not know that I'm working on that. I said, I agree with you. We have to reduce the cost of power. I don't want to go into it, but we are trying. Hopefully before the end of next year, the power should have come down. Not to the level I want, because we want it to come to 5 cents a unit. But at least we are trying to finance Bujagali, which is now supplying much of the power. We hope that we will be able to bring the power to about 80 cents. That's what we are trying to do. But that is still on the higher side. We want to bring it to 5. Actually, we want to bring it to 3 cents. Then you'll be able to do rolling business. Now, to do that, we have to finish Bujagali. We have to Isimba and other hydro power projects. I have to build power lines to evacuate that power. I have to build substations for receiving that power and being able to distribute it. I have to take this power in various parts of the country because I don't want industry to round around Jinja and Kampala. I want the whole country. That's why I'm trying to develop what we call industrial parks in Gulu, in Lira, in Arua, in Soroti, Mbale, Jinja, Tororo, Kasese, Mbarara, everywhere around the country, the big towns. So that children do not have to flock to town. I want people to remain as much as possible in their home area. Or you can cross and go to that place, but we don't all have to come and congest around Kampala. We need Kampala, but we don't think that everybody should come to Kampala. So that is my thinking. I want you to refine it. You can tell me either by today. If you can't, we don't have time, then we can. I want to receive your thinking about this direction. That's why the theme for this year's budget is improving production and productivity for industrialization and for inclusive growth, so that everybody is coming and growing more or less at the same time. Not speed, but at the same time. We don't want to leave people behind, no. We don't want to develop this country where those who have, they really have, and those who don't have, they don't really have. So we want to develop a society that there isn't so much differences between the rich and the poor. That way, we shall be building a very stable community. Everybody will have a stake and wanting to keep whatever he or she has acquired. Now, let me answer your questions of tax now, after having given you my vision. Why are you taxing, why have you exempted SACCOs, Mchala Secretarico, and you have not exempted cooperative productions, cooperatives who are involved in agriculture? The reason is very simple. You know, corporate tax is paid out of net revenue. Am I right? Sales, less your cost of production, no others, including, by the way, taxes, then we tax you, the taxable income. Okay? I don't know whether I've got the formula right. We tax your, what you would call your net income. After you have even taken out depreciation of machinery, I have been hearing people talking about taxation of machinery and so forth. I will also guide you on this. That's what we tax. The SACCOs, there are SACCOs which are making money today, but most SACCOs are struggling. 3, I want every Ugandan, mark my words please, I want every banked, I want every Ugandan to belong to a financial institution of some sort. This business of keeping money under the mattress should stop. Because when money is kept under the mattress, it's not available for multiplication. I want money to come into financial institutions so that these financial institutions can use this money to lend to businesses, to whoever is doing business or doing some work for increased production and productivity. Are we together? So, SACCOs are the nearest financial institution close to the ordinary person in the village. So I was approached by many SACCO leaders and said, Minister, why aren't you taxing us? Some of us are struggling, some of us are young. Why don't you give us a period so that if we made this extra profit, we would use it to expand our businesses and we capture more people to come into the money economy. And I thought they had a very valid and strong argument. So we have exempted them. It's not going to be forever. When they have stabilized and they are making good profit, we shall get them to tax them. So that's the reason why I have exempted SACCOs from taxes. I want those, first of all, I want those which are struggling to come up. I want those which have not been started to be started up. I want those which are making money to expand so that we have a bigger base for attracting everybody to bring in money within a financial system of some sort. For that money to go to
the Honorable Minister for Finance, Matia Kasaija, at the URA Annual Budget at Hotel Africana. And he will be there for some time, as NBS who have been covering. But also, the annual budget this time has been taken to other districts, that is Mbarara, Gulu, and Mbale. We'll continue bringing you coverage in those areas and also stories affecting those different areas later on in our bulletins at 7 p.m. and at 9 p.m.